Aloha and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here on This Is Now. Some news just into our newsroom. A Molokai man has been found guilty of murder for the death of his girlfriend back in 2022.
The jury in Mariano Garces' trial began deliberating yesterday afternoon following closing arguments. Prosecutors say Garces' escalating use of violence caused him to kill Amy Kaholoa'a at his Kaunakakai home. They say for 15 minutes he hit her over and over again. Now, the defense claimed it was an accident and he never wanted her to die. Court records show earlier that year, Kaholoa'a filed a petition for a temporary restraining order for alleged domestic abuse. Garces was charged with second-degree murder.
And now to our other top story. The Biden administration is trying to calm the fears that he can't win the White House again after his poor performance at the debate.
The president is meeting with allies amid calls for him to step down. Alice Barr has the latest.
Facing mounting pressure over his future in the race, President Biden and Vice President Harris rallying campaign staff in an all-hands call. The president telling them, quote, "I am running and nobody is pushing me out." The White House press secretary reaffirming that.
The president is moving forward. He's moving forward as being president. He's moving forward with his campaign.
The White House chief of staff told that full team to tune out intense noise and focus on governing, all part of an effort to ease anxieties and tamp down calls for the president to end his re-election bid after that disastrous debate. Even close allies frustrated the public hasn't seen him since in more off-the-cuff appearances.
He's got to show the American people that he can do this job. And he can't be wrapped in bubble right now.
Following criticism, he was slow to reassure lawmakers. The president speaking today with several top Democrats, including former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who yesterday acknowledged deep concerns over his debate performance.
I think it's a legitimate question to say, is this an episode or is this a condition?
So far, just one Democratic lawmaker has publicly called to replace Mr. Biden on the ticket.
That process, while it's messy, if it's done in a fair and open way, may do a great deal to restore confidence in the democratic process.
A new CNN poll shows Vice President Harris faring slightly better against Trump than Biden, though the difference is within the margin of error, and she is underscoring her support.
Joe Biden is our nominee. We beat Trump once, and we're going to beat him again, period.
An embattled nominee seeking to steady the ship. A new New York Times Siena College poll is adding fuel to the fire, finding President Biden trailing former President Trump by 9 percentage points among registered voters and by 6 points among likely voters. The poll was conducted after the debate and shows Mr. Trump widening his lead compared to a Times poll from before the debate. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
A grand jury has indicted Shala Ona with manslaughter. This is for a deadly crash in the Punch Bowl area last year. The 36-year-old was allegedly drunk and speeding in January on Iolani Avenue. Prosecutors say she was going 85 in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. She allegedly sideswiped the car of 59-year-old Elmer Milikini, who lost control and struck a tree. Ona now faces up to 20 years in prison. Her bail is set at $100,000. And what happened to Amber Jackson? Kawaii police are renewing their request for leads in the Kapa'a woman's homicide. 14 years ago, Jackson's body was found in a wooded area of Kealia. An autopsy showed the 57-year-old died from blunt force trauma to the head and had injuries consistent with assault. A nonprofit in Jackson's name is offering a $20,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of her killer. Anyone with information should call Kawaii police. Honolulu police are seeking 4 suspects wanted in connection with a shooting that injured a teenage boy on Sunday. All of this crime is upsetting community members who say more needs to be done.
We don't know if the shooters are still in our community, if they're next door to us, if they moved on to a different part of the island.
Neighborhood board member Samantha DeCourt is among those on edge and wanting answers after a shooting Sunday injured a 15-year-old boy. Police are also looking for answers, putting out these new images of 4 suspects who allegedly confronted the victim and a witness on Ala'akau Street and then chased after them. Someone fired shots. EMS says the teen was struck several times in the arm and legs.
Exactly. It's a very dangerous situation. Once again, we want the community to please help get involved in helping to combat crime within the community over there. And the only way you can do that is if you just help us out, help the police department out.
The suspects got away in this light gray Toyota Camry.
Please, if the community, please just check your video surveillance system. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the exact area, but if you live in the surrounding areas, what we're looking for is this light gray colored or light green colored Toyota Camry 4-door sedan.
DeCourt wishes police had been quicker to release information to the public, and she's upset that crime continues in Leeward, Oahu, as renovations continue on the police station's 2nd floor. Mayor Blangiardi recently encouraged the community to play a greater part in patrolling their streets, something DeCourt says they are doing, but still need more help.
And at this point, the victims are getting younger, the suspects are getting younger, it's happening in the middle of the day, in broad daylight, kids are killing kids in the middle of the street. So what is it really going to take for HPD to wake up, for Chief Logan to make some moves, for city and state to come together to complete this police station?
It's still not exactly known what led up to the shooting. However, police say they are handling this as an attempted murder investigation. As for the next community walk, DeCourt says that is planned for Friday, July 12th. Community members will gather at 6 p.m. at the cul-de-sac on Olavalua Road. In more news from the courts, the defense has rested its case in the trial of alleged crime boss Mike Misy, who never did take the stand. The former businessman faces 16 charges, including murder for hire and racketeering. The trial began in January, and Misy's legal team has been calling witnesses for the past 3 weeks. Both sides will still be able to call rebuttal witnesses, but closing arguments are expected in the coming days.
Hurricane Beryl is on the move after killing at least 6 people and leaving a trail of destruction. The Category 4 storm is now bearing down on Jamaica. That's where we find Tom Hansen at Montego Bay.
Hurricane Beryl took aim at Jamaica, lashing the island nation with heavy rain and powerful winds.
I am now declaring the whole of Jamaica to be a disaster area.
As the storm closed in, Jamaica's prime minister imposed an island-wide curfew and pointed out the role climate change is playing in the historic weather event.
It highlights the growing impact of climate change on global weather patterns, particularly on small island developing states like Jamaica.
Beryl already left a trail of destruction across the Caribbean earlier this week, wiping out most homes on Union Island in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
There is an estimated 90% of the houses that were damaged, either extensively or destroyed.
This was the scene on Venezuela's northeastern coast Wednesday, where residents used shovels and wheelbarrows to clear mud from their homes.
For travelers trying to get out of Jamaica and out of the path of this storm, that window has closed because the airport is closed until the hurricane warning is lifted.
Adit Jain and his sister Ayushi, tourists from Pennsylvania, are hunkered down with their parents at their Airbnb in Montego Bay.
Definitely not the vacation either of us envisioned, to say the least.
Beryl is expected to take aim at the Cayman Islands next, before reaching Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, a path forecasters say could put the storm on course to impact the southern U.S. Tom Hansen, CBS News, Montego Bay, Jamaica.
Tomorrow is Independence Day, and it's set to be an extremely busy holiday travel weekend. Jolani Martinez reports from Honolulu's airport.
It's the day before Independence Day, and the flow of travelers flying in and out of the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport is steady.
4th of July, Hawaii.
Yeah, we want to see the fireworks.
TSA is expecting to screen over 32 million passengers during the July 4th travel period. This couple from California just arrived this morning, and it's their first trip to the Aloha State.
We both work at the same place, and we had two holidays, tomorrow and Friday, so we only had to take 2 days off to go for a long weekend.
Those who did fly in this morning tried to avoid a hectic experience at their departing airport.
It was busy, but I think that we got there pretty early, so we kind of beat the rush, because when we look back, it was packed.
It was a smooth trip, smooth sailing the whole way.
The State Department of Transportation says there could be longer lines for those leaving the state, but if you do plan on parking at the Honolulu airport, remember the rates just went up this week. One full day of parking is $25. The holiday travel period goes on through July 8th. DOT is urging people to avoid traveling on island time and get to the airports early. Reporting from the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, Jolani Martinez, Hawaii News Now.
Policy cancellations and sticker shock. That's what Hawaii residents are dealing with when it comes to their property insurance. Homeowners are reeling from soaring costs. Yunji Denise and Ryan Clay Suji delve into the issue on Spotlight Now.
On the last episode of Spotlight Now, we focused in on the growing concern over the rising costs of insurance, especially for condo owners here in Hawaii.
Some building owners have seen their rates rise 300 to 500%. Our expert in studio told us no one is immune.
Every condo building, high-rise, low-rise, commercial or not, is seeing rate increases. So are the shopping centers and the person who owns an apartment building or the malls. Everybody is seeing their property rates go up. No one's getting away with anything. No one's, unless you own an insurance company, you're not getting away with anything. So everybody's seeing rates increase. For the residential condos, it's hard for us in Hawaii because many of ours are very old, and we not only have insurance issues, we have pipe issues, and we haven't done our roof, and we haven't done our spalling, and we haven't done our sprinklers, which we have to be doing, or at least planning to do, because then that's going to be an issue as well. So they've got a lot of condos that have a lot of claims and have not taken care of things over the last 30, 40 years. They're probably seeing the worst increases.
Also joining us to speak on this topic was House Speaker Scott Saiki, as well as Insurance Commissioner Gordon Ito. They say that they are working with the governor to address this issue, even talks of reviving the Hawaii Hurricane Relief Fund, but all noted that this is an issue that needs immediate attention.
And everyone who is concerned about building more housing inventory in our state has to be concerned about what's happening here, because then the mantra has been build high rises in the urban core so that you can preserve everywhere else. And in order for us to do that, we have to address issues now like property insurance. And the concern that we have is that, and we mentioned this throughout the legislative session, was that this issue would not just impact condo buildings, but would affect other forms of housing. And that's exactly what's happened, because now townhomes are affected, and in some cases, single-family homes are being affected. So this is a issue that's larger than just high-rise condo buildings.
The governor has said that he could call a special session to address this. We'll be asking him about that and much more on the next edition of Spotlight Now. Join us Tuesday at 1 on K5.
And now switching gears, before the fireworks go off on Independence Day, plenty of people will be getting their holiday started with a backyard cookout.
Riley Blackburn is at the grocery store to figure out how much all that food could cost this year.
At the Stop and Shop in Clifton, New Jersey, shoppers are filling up for the 4th.
Family, backyard time, grilling time, hanging out with friends. Who doesn't look forward to the 4th? It's the summertime.
And family favorites are on the menu.
All the things for him to make his famous macaroni salad.
Even though inflation is easing, it's still being felt.
When we get the final bill, it's like sometimes it's sticker shock.
Overall, grocery store prices are up about 1% from last year, but that's compared to about 4% at restaurants. So cooking at home can save some dough. Hamburgers are a July 4th staple, and while the price of ground beef is higher this year, lettuce, tomatoes, and cheese are less. Wells Fargo puts the average price to make a classic cheeseburger at $2.19 each.
Well, when you look at making that burger, it's just about where it was a year ago.
Economist Michael Swanson says lower potato prices mean potato salad is cheaper. and beer is only up 1.2% from a year ago.
To see it down to 1.2%, that's pretty normal inflation.
But dessert could be bittersweet. Cupcakes are 5.6% more than in 2023. Swanson says shop around for the best deals. Many stores will discount certain items to get people in the door.
But they don't put everything on sale. So you really want to make sure that you find what you want where you want it, but don't throw a lot of things in your cart just because you're there, because you might not be getting the bargain that you think you are.
One way to get more bang for your buck on the 4th. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Clifton, New Jersey.
And it is Wednesday, which means it is time for our crime roundup with HPD Sergeant Chris Kim. Thank you so much for joining us. What do you have for us here today?
I've got 3 cases I want to highlight. The first case is a burglary in the first degree that happened at a residential home off of Amakua Street in the Pearl City area on Monday, April 1st, 2024 at about 5:28 a.m. This male and female suspect burglarized a home once again over on Amakua Street. They broke in and took some property, then fled. You kind of see initially the female tries breaking in on the first floor, couldn't get in. The second suspect, the male, goes up to the second floor where the kitchen window was open, and he jumps right in, opens the front door for the female accomplice, and they burglarize the home. Both suspects are being described as unknown. If the viewers can please take a look at this video and see if you do recognize these people involved. Our second case is unauthorized entry of a motor vehicle, basically a vehicle break-in that happened over on Saturday, June 15th, 2024 at about 5:45 a.m. This male broke into numerous vehicles over at a dealership in the Waipahu area and took property. He's being described as an unknown male, late teens to early 20s. We're hoping the hairs would be a dead giveaway for the people that do know him. If you do know who this male is, please contact us at Crime Stoppers. And lastly, we have a robbery in the second degree. This happened on Saturday, May 18, 2024 at about 1:28 a.m. This male entered a convenience store in the Waianae area, forced open the locked alcohol cooler, basically broke the lock and took a 12-pack of Corona beer. And when the employee tried to stop him, he physically assaulted the employee, then fled. He's been described as an unknown male, late tweens to early 20s, approximately 5 feet 2 inches tall. He fled in a white 4-door sedan. Once again, as far as this one as well, if viewers do know who this person is, please contact us. All 3 cases we talked about can be seen over at the www.honolulupd.org website, bottom left-hand corner, under Wanted Persons.
And Sergeant Kim, you did mention you had another one you want to talk about. We do have time to.
Yeah, we're asking for the public. We still have a missing kupuna out there. His name is Anthony Pang. He's being described as a local Chinese male, approximately 68 years old, 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing 150 pounds of salt and pepper hair, brown eyes. He was last seen on June 30th, 2024 at about 10 o'clock a.m., leaving his home off of Kuhaolua Street in the Waipahu area. We do have his photo posted on our website as well as our social media sites. Once again, a missing kupuna, Anthony Pang. If you do know his whereabouts, if you do see him, please contact us at Crime Stoppers or call 911 immediately.
All right, HPD Sergeant Chris Kim, thank you so much for that crime roundup. Let's send you live outside now. This is actually a live look at LAX. Of course, the big headline going into the holiday, so many people will be hitting the skies and the roads. If you're traveling somewhere, let us know where you're going. Stay with us after this short break. We'll have a closer look at your local weather.
How's it on this Wednesday? Our weather's going to be very, very nice, but we are starting out with a few showers. No surprises there. Showers are favoring windward areas. Oahu getting the brunt of the rainfall this morning, but again, rainfall totals will be light. The rain is of the light variety. Flooding not an issue. Winds will be running brisk again today, so it should be comfortable in terms of humidity levels, and these breezy winds will hang on for the next couple days before it slow down just before the weekend. So we'll see another gorgeous day today. A little cloudy, a little damp in the morning, drier by lunchtime with more sunshine taking over, and those winds running brisk in the afternoon at 15 to 20 miles an hour. Now, as far as the surf, it's going to be small, pretty much island-wide. Biggest waves are rolling into the south and east sides, but heads up, box jellyfish likely still swimming in to some south shore spots. Now, the beautiful weather will continue for the 4th of July tomorrow. We'll start out with a few morning showers and then lots of sunshine follow that. And you can see the weather pattern is not going to change very much. The only change that you'll notice, lighter winds starting on Friday going through the weekend, and then that's when the humidity levels will start to rise. But early next week, the trade-ins come back up to full strength.
The personal information of more than 1,000 Ticketmaster customers has been exposed in a data breach. Ticketmaster confirmed that hackers obtained information including emails, phone numbers, and credit card numbers. The data was stolen between April 2nd and May 18th. Ticketmaster believes all customers affected by the breach have been notified. The company is offering identity monitoring services to those who enroll within 90 days of receiving the notice. Customers are advised to monitor their credit and bank accounts for signs of suspicious activity.
As the 4th of July approaches, a day to celebrate the United States independence, just how patriotic are we as a country? What does patriotism mean? And what impacts it? Reporter Brian Abel is taking a look at these questions and joins us now. What can you tell us, Brian?
Hey, Emily, hope you are well today. We think that maybe tomorrow is a day where Americans can set aside their differences and come together to celebrate the United States. But with such a divided country and a presidential election looming, there is new polling that says the majority of U.S. voters are not proud of the United States today.
The 4th of July fireworks bursting high in the air, a symbol of celebration for the United States of America, and so often accompanied by the broad stripes and bright stars of U.S. pride. But 248 years since U.S. independence, many Americans aren't feeling patriotic.
Patriotism is defined really broadly as feeling pride or love for one's country.
A Fox News poll out this week shows a majority of voters in the U.S. are not proud of the country today. And American Studies professor Elizabeth Anker says much of how people feel has to do with our politics.
For instance, in the Democratic Party, do you feel that the government is in the service of helping citizens? What we see in people in the Republican Party, patriotism might be, is the U.S. the strongest country in the world?
Also driving down pride, a shift in generations.
One thing we've seen over the past couple decades, especially in the last decade, is that younger people who have really not been supportive of many of the national policies, even when it's for a party that they support.
What could boost back up American patriotism? Anker says the country often comes together to find collective strength in the face of adversity.
Oftentimes it's a sense of sacrifice, of everybody being involved in some way to fight for the greater good. For instance, after 9/11, people came together to help one another out.
And Anker tells me that there was a brief rise in patriotism when Barack Obama was elected, but we haven't seen a true sense of pride in the U.S. in over 2 decades, since just after 9/11. Emily?
A very interesting report. Brian, aside from political affiliation and age, do we see any demographic split?
We do, according to Professor Anker. She points to gender and race. So men have a tendency, they lean towards being more patriotic, more proud of the United States than women. And she cites access to reproductive care as an example of why. And then also, white people are often significantly more patriotic than non-white groups.
Well, thank you so much for your reporting, Brian. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Emily.
Time for some good news now.
That's right. An official weigh-in ceremony was held today for participants in the Nathan's annual hot dog eating contest. Nathan's famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest dates back to 1972 and brings out a large crowd of fans to New York's Coney Island who are eager to cheer on the competitors as they chow down for a chance at $10,000. Contestants hail from 13 states and several countries. However, the competition is expected to go on without its reigning champ, Joey Chestnut, who set the current record of 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes in 2021.
And so he will be in Fort Bliss in Texas eating with the troops. If he can't be in Coney Island, we certainly support him being with the troops, honoring our armed forces. Our door is always open. We want him there. We welcome him back next year if he wants to come.
Of course, part of the reason he won't be there is because he struck a deal with the hot dog competitors, so we'll see how.
With like a plant-based
Yes, exactly.
company.
But overall, I mean, nothing screams happy 4th of July like hot dogs and a side of heartburn.
And gluttony.
How many hot dogs do you think you could eat?
Oh, 2 maybe?
Let's try it tomorrow on This Is Now, right here, guys.
There's a tease.
Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Aloha.